I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We worked for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks.
What's up, JFW family? Welcome back to the Channel 23 podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to reach out and touch the fleet, to engage and inform everyone with all things JFW. Good morning, Jim White, Super Dave Weldon, and JR's Laganosa Saenz.
Morning, everybody.
Morning, everybody.
Buenos días, raza.
Good morning.
JR, whenever you're here, we like to have you kick off the text.
Sounds good. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord Jesus Christ, thank you for this day and the work in front of us. Watch over our drivers, our fleet, and every family connected to us. Keep us mindful, patient, and steady in every decision we make on the road. If it's your will, keep us safe from accidents and harm, and bring us home to our families at the end of the day. Be with those who are sick. Bring healing, strength, and peace, no matter what comes. Teach us to trust you in all things. We give you the glory, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, man, I'm going to probably put my foot in my mouth, but what's new? Is that a fairly new rewrite?
No.
No? Okay.
It's the only rewrite of the Trucker Prayer
Yeah?
I've ever done, yeah.
Really?
I mean, this is about 4 weeks.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just didn't, maybe I'm not listening to you.
So-
I apologize.
What's funny is I specifically came to you,
Yeah.
said, hey, I'm going to do this. Is that cool? And you're like, yeah.
Yeah. It's just thank you for this day and for the work in front of us. I just don't
Yes.
remember that
It's okay.
sentence. It hit me today.
It's all right.
I think it's because we're so used to changes so much, Jim, that it's just natural to us. Like, yep,
Just-
it's
That's
another
not
change.
it. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Let's
So,
go.
Maybe you were just doing a little bit husband listening, Jim, and you were just like, yeah, that's fine.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
So thank you for this day and the work in front of us equals thank you for the opportunity to go out and do some trucking today.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to say it hit me different today.
All right.
How's that?
That's good. I'm
I've
glad
been-
it hit you at all.
Always thankful for them challenges to help us grow, right?
Yes,
Yep.
sir. Yep. As a reminder, anything you hear on this podcast, even if it's for the first time today, Jim,
It's probably the second or third.
it's not the opinion of JFW's. It's just the four men in this room's expressed opinions.
Yeah.
Episode 230 had 219 downloads. Not bad for a holiday week.
Mm-hmm.
We had a total of 116,000 downloads on the nose, and we have 985 followers.
Wow, that's
Nice.
awesome.
Yes, sir. Well, it's not quite Halloween yet, but I want to tell you about the guy that went to a costume party with a girl on his back. Have you heard this one?
I haven't.
Yeah, so they ask him, what are you supposed to be? He says, a turtle. And they're like, huh? Well, who's she? He says, oh, that's Michelle. And I got one more girl joke. What do you call a girl standing in the middle of a tennis court?
The referee.
Nope. That's an actual name.
Isn't it like a sideline judge?
No.
Something like that.
I think that is right. Yeah.
Nope, that's not right.
Oh, let us know, Jim.
Annette.
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 There you go. There you go. Oh, man.
All right, Laganosa, what do you got?
Well, I have, as an end-up driver, the phrases you usually don't want to come across your mind or you don't want to hear.
Oh, boy.
One of those being, oh my God, am I leaning? The internal panic every driver feels when dumping on an uneven surface.
Mm.
Another one is, Please let that load release. Please, God. A common prayer uttered when things aren't sliding out as planned.
Very true.
This one's for the asphalt drivers. Wait, I hear a swish. What you hear when you pull out of the paver thinking you're empty, only to realize you still have material as you raise the bed. With that being said, guys, if that happens to you guys owe that paving crew a 24-pack of Modelo's. At least that was the last time that had happened. So
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
that's an easy way to piss off the pavers.
Mm-hmm.
And then last one I got. Welcome to the Tub Tip Club. What your coworkers will sarcastically say the moment you actually flip it. Hopefully not something we do.
Right.
That's the last thing you want to hear.
Oh. Did you hear about the family of moles that woke up from hibernation?
I've never heard of them.
Nope.
Oh, they start digging up to the surface to get some air and stretch their legs. When they arrive, there's a layer of concrete that wasn't there before. They dig around the concrete, and Papa Mole pokes his head out and smells fresh pancakes.
Mm.
Oh, they must have built a pancake house up there. It smells great. Mama Mole, right behind Papa, sniffs and says, "Oh, wow, the syrup smells delicious." Baby Mole, in the hole behind Papa and Mama, says, "Yuck, all I can smell is molasses back here."
That's good. Yeah. I
That is
like it.
good. So I've got a couple riddles here, and maybe you've heard of them already, and you might have the answers. I don't know. Let's see. What kind of coat is best put on wet?
Raincoat?
Not a raincoat. That's what I was going to say, JR.
Oh, man.
A coat of paint.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go. Good job.
Good
Yes,
job,
good
JR.
job.
Coat of paint.
What kind of band never plays music?
Rubber band.
Yes. Good job, Jim. All right. This one's for you, Jim. What,
No pressure.
what starts with a T, ends with a T, and has T in it?
I don't know, Super Dave.
I'm surprised because you're usually pretty good at that sort of thing. A teapot.
Mm.
Yeah.
Teapot. Wow.
There you go.
There you go. I thought those were cute.
Yeah.
All right. New employees. We got Angel Sandoval Baltiera, Vaughn Lombardi, and Carlos Bencomo Castillo. Welcome to the Fleet Men. And then-
Welcome, everybody.
And we also have, go ahead. Nope.
Welcome once more, guys.
Then we also have some Yard 23 Yard Dogs starting today. We got Kenny Kelch, John LeBlanc, and Demetrius Fry. Welcome to the team, guys.
Nice. Welcome. Those first two sound familiar. Are they
Yes.
family members of
Yep.
some of our
Yep.
drivers?
So
Yeah.
Kenny is Ryan's son.
That's right. Okay.
John LeBlanc is Ryan's little brother.
Oh, okay.
Ryan and Ryan.
And Demetrius Fry is on his own.
Yeah. Okay.
Very nice.
Okay. Yeah. Welcome, you guys. Just some help in the next few months getting moved and kind of basically whatever needs to be done. Just some labor. And I know we sent out that connect and Kenny and John were contacted, I believe, by their family members and
Yep.
worked out well.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yep. I did get some pretty good input from everybody around that said, yeah, I think I know this guy and I've got a couple friends. And John is Ryan's little brother. Kenny is, again, Ryan's son, but they're looking for summer work and they were Johnny on the spot, so to speak. So thank you, everybody, for responding to that post on Connect. And it was a great help because it's always a little bit of a shit show when you place an ad and you're only looking for something like that.
Mhm.
I was going to place it over the holiday and I probably would have gotten 100 responses, which would have been a lot of work. So
Definitely a good job for anybody who's on summer break and for high school?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
yeah. Anybody that whether college could be a summer job
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, to be part of this team in any capacity should be an honor.
Right. And it should
Yes.
it should be an interesting kind of summer because they're going to do a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
On it. You're not good.
Yeah.
Shouldn't get bored doing
Yeah,
that.
to be part of that new building, coming into fruition, man. What a cool little gig, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but laugh this morning because I heard Brother Dave, giving Scooby some instruction about, what to have him do.
Oh
And
yeah.
he made a comment about power tool use and about losing a finger, and I immediately thought about Scooby's finger.
Yeah.
I was like, example, exhibit A.
Show these guys what happens when you're not
Yeah,
being
maybe
kept.
Scooby's not the right guy to be showing anybody that.
Don't do this. Don't do this. That was one of the, speaking of that, one of the dad jokes I ran across, and it made me think of Scooby, because I think he says this. Where's my notes? Hang on. I'll tell you guys. This is for Scooby. What do you call a deer with no eyes?
No ideal.
No idea. I got no idea.
He's so good about using the talk to text thing, but
Mhm.
sometimes the texting part doesn't, or the AI, whatever,
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
catch on.
picks it up.
And it gives you some weird website, and you're like, what is that? Oh, no, he's trying to say that.
Well, anytime he puts a period after the word like CO, it
Yeah.
pulls up a website. Yeah. Yes, sir. All right. Celebrations, anniversaries. Oh boy, Rick Ray, 17 years tomorrow.
Crap, 17 years, huh?
Wow.
Yep.
Long time. Congrats, Rick.
Yep. You guys have been listening to his complaints for a long time.
Congratulations,
Yes.
Rick. That's amazing, buddy.
It
Thanks.
really is.
Great
Everything.
job, Rick. So happy to have you around for 17 years.
Cisco Chacon hits 1 year tomorrow. And that went pretty quick. We don't.
It did.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I was telling Cisco yesterday, I bumped into him. I'm like, 1 year, man. He's like, yeah, it's crazy how time flies. I'm like, yeah, sometimes it seems like it flies. Sometimes it don't.
I remember the first time when he came in for an interview, I'm like, damn, this guy's a big dude.
Huh. Yep.
Yeah, it is the whole time thing, or life, or whatever it is. I mean, I mention it all the time when we talk
Yeah.
about people, and it is crazy.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's got a really good attitude. I like dealing with Cisco. So, birthdays. Jeff Ward had a birthday this past Sunday, the 24th. So, happy birthday, Jeff. If you don't know who Jeff is, he is one of the night mechanics here at the main yard. Family birthday celebrations. I was told I missed Mike Kelly's wife last week, Jackie, but I would have announced her the week before. But her birthday, regardless, was
Was
May
missed.
16th.
Mm.
So,
Well, happy
Yes.
birthday.
Happy
yes.
birthday.
Sorry we missed you, Jackie. Your husband threatened me with physical violence if I didn't correct myself this week. So,
He does
There you
have
go.
that Fighting Irish license plate
Yeah.
and fists up and
He
everything.
does,
So
yeah, he was ready
Irish
to,
attitude.
he wanted to defend his wife. Man. Woo! Hobie Breckenridge, his wife, Carrie, had a birthday this past Sunday. Happy birthday, Carrie.
happy
Yep,
birthday.
happy birthday.
And then Dan Ortega, his daughter, Gemma, had a birthday this past Monday. So happy birthday, little Gemma.
Yeah,
Nice.
happy birthday.
Memorial Day and a birthday, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Shout outs. I want to give a shout out to Jovan Rizzo, or Jovi, and the Rizzo family. They had a baby boy Monday the 18th. And then Giga, or Georgi Lilashvili, they had a baby girl on the 21st. So congrats to him and his family. Welcome, baby. Oh, man.
Luana.
No, it's an
Luana?
I. Nope, it's an I. Iwana.
Oh.
Iwana.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Iona. Okay.
Yep, who was 7.12 ounces and 21 inches.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations, guys.
Yep. All right, you guys ready to get to the meat and potatoes, or do you have any shout outs?
I get a couple shout outs.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just want to go back to Rick. 17 years. That's amazing. I know I just said thank you, Rick, and everything, but you spend enough time with somebody, and we have several of the guys here that we've spent a lot of history with, and you talk about how fast time goes, and man, Rick, the last 17 years have flown by, and yet if I concentrate on the last 17 years, you've been through a lot with us, and you've always been a stand-up person and helpful and great ideas and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to one more time thank you, Rick. That's awesome to be here 17 years and share life with you. That's definitely what it turns out being. And then my other shout out is just quick to the Yard 23 guys. Lots of changes over there, and I know those guys particularly right now. We've moved them from here, we moved them from there, we've parked this direction, we've had this fuel tank, we've had that fuel tank, we've had Just different stuff, how you turn it on, turn it off, where to park, not drive across the yellow lines, not be in anybody's way, and everybody's just handled it really well over there. And so thank you. I know in the next 60 days, I'm going to call it, there'll just even be more changes, and everybody from here will be joining everybody over there, and, how we're going to park. And so thank you for putting up with us. And then, the other thing, just let's keep working together and, try to park where we're supposed to be parking, not parking people's way, not be driving over the new paint when we put down the lines, all that kind of stuff. And just be diligent on what's going on over there and being paying attention. So,
Man, this is really the first time I thought about it, but I would bet most places when they're building a building, the property is not occupied.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
for us to be doing that with having 30 or so trucks over there, for it to be a working facility and to be building a new facility, that's a whole thing in itself.
Yep.
Yeah, yesterday we tore out the concrete behind the shop because we're trying to get some more curb and gutter in, and we tore down the sheds and stuff, last week, but we tore out the concrete pad in front of it, and we kind of piled the concrete, and Ron wouldn't have thought of it. He's been doing such a great job, the excavator, but we piled the concrete like right in front of the shop. And so for the shop guys to be able to turn and get the truck in, because you got to be perfectly straight, there's just not much room. So, we kind of basically screwed over the shop guys, made it hard for the watch guys. There's just always something going on, Jam, because you're exactly right. We're trying to work, and then, the next jump is, getting things moved from here over there. But then we got to kill that shop that's there and get those few things walked across the yard basically so we can get open. And there's so many moving parts. And yesterday, quick story, we were supposed to hook up our main water line to the meter that we've told the story about. So we dig down to locate the water line we have, and the meter's there, the line going over to the scale house is there, but wherever they tap the main line is not there. It's just like a blue line, Kitech blue line headed south down the street. Oh. And so where it hooks to the main line, nobody knows. And Ron dug away his labor, or him, they dug underneath, like making a little trench, went back 3 foot underneath to try to hope to hit it. And we can't find it. We asked South Adams County to do a locate. They lost the signal. So there's no tracer wire in the ground. So I think basically today we're making saw cuts in the concrete and asphalt, and we just got to dig in.
Kind of south along the driveway looking for that tap.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And so kind of a, pain in the butt, but just life.
Yeah.
It's just.
So let me ask this. We're cutting up are we going to cut up the new concrete?
Oh yeah, Super Dave.
Oh boy.
Yeah, good chunk that we paved already.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah. And I don't know. We talked about potholing it, which is, you guys have all seen potholing, and they come in with a vac truck and they pothole down in one spot, but that's pretty expensive, and we're still having to cut concrete, cut out. It might be a small hole, but how many times do we have to pothole? When you pothole, you're usually like, we're pretty sure it's right here. This is the location of it. Not, let's start here and go here and go here, and we might as well just follow the line and dig it up. So
yeah, just dig along the line, huh?
Yeah. There's
until you find the end.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And what's really going to suck is if it's back closer to the new building, because we could have just probably hooked it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've got an interesting story here. I did an interview. I think I met with the guy last week, and I also took him out for a test drive last night, but he has been driving for a flatbed for White Cap Supply, and he's delivered rebar to us several occasions over to the Yard 23. So he's been watching that building come up and be built, and the fuel system, all these things that he's delivered for, and now he wants to come work for us.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yep.
I just want to give a general, shout out to everyone that's either texted, reached out, or called or anything. And I know we kind of joked about it a little bit earlier on the podcast about how things just become a blur, and every minute, every 5 minutes, something changes here. Mikey needs a truck taken here, there, we got to go do this, take that to yard 23, or this driver calls, he needs this, so many things blur together. But I want to give a shout out to all the guys, just making it right, making it seem like they're working with us and working with Samsara, how much that changes as well. Sometimes it has its fluke. So thank you guys. And as far as like a day like yesterday where there's orientation, thank you to Super Dave for getting the new guys in and making that seamless when they're doing their paperwork in the morning and getting them in. Jam coming in and, talking about the podcast, and Kendrick when he fills in and he comes in sometimes, introduces himself, Scooby. Just the whole teamwork aspect of how things work here at JFW is amazing. And when you step back and see that, it's just amazing how it works. So thank you, everybody.
And unless I'm wrong, but Joanne doing lunches, she takes care of
There
them.
you go. Yeah, Joanne.
The whole, like you're saying, JR, just the team. And sometimes that gets lost on how many moving parts we really have here and how well all of you guys do also. I mean, so the general thank you is amazing because we make it work. There's a lot.
And it always builds on itself too. It just grows and grows and grows. And, we had this and then we had that, all for the better good of everything. And next thing you know, we have this robust program that, it takes a lot of people to operate.
It does. I can't remember what we were talking about, Jam, but somebody this weekend, being a holiday weekend, we were together with somebody and they mentioned how smooth we look or how smooth we operate, and I just always go back to that saying, and we talk about it is, the duck just on top of the water, it's just, there's no wake, there's no nothing, just going along. And it just
gliding smoothly.
Right. But the old feet underneath the water, just churning like a son of a bitch to keep going. And
they don't see the chaos.
Right. And I'm like, that is exactly us. We're just like, we're paddling to keep it all in the same direction. And there's so many people that do a great job at doing that,
Oh, man. I don't know why I think about Jack Black. I think it's Jack Black where he's like a little bit of lightning, a little bit of thunder, bam. You don't see it coming.
Nope. Nope. That's for darn sure. Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty good segue into the first topic of the discussion topic, right?
Because we're always trying to do the next few things, Jim.
Yeah. So, last Friday I got out to go do a little trekking, which is always fun. But you see things that you just don't see when you're stuck at your desk. And it's kind of disappointing, really, when you see, somebody, like just for an example, over at Plant 12, couple trucks in front of me, guy gets out without his PPE. You know what I mean? So I'm like, maybe he just went to drop his tickets off, pull some video yesterday. No, he could only put his vest on to go hit his dump valve.
Did he just put it over his shoulder?
No, he put it on. But he put it on outside the truck. Grabbed it, it was like a flash. You know what I mean? So I just think about, like, I'm getting out with my PPE on. It's not that hard. You know what I mean? Like, so when I think about, like, what's the problem? Why wouldn't you do what we're asking you to do? Because it's really easy. Like, that's a box you could check. It takes no skill. You just have to have the will to put your vest on and put your hat on. That's it.
And that's one of the most annoying complaint phone calls we get, Jim. I know you get them too. We're there alongside, but you get a call from a plant manager or loader, and they're just like, "Hey, so and so doesn't have their PPE. If they come back and they don't put it back on, I'm going to kick them out." And it's the most, to me at least, it's one of the most annoying complaint calls.
I'm more out on the PPE. It's just not something we should have to chase people down to do. It's just something that you should be doing. So we do pay you to do it the right way. This is what a safety bonus is for. Somebody texted me their safety bonus the other day. Guys, it was $1,111 and change for 1 month. Safety bonus.
That is awesome.
I asked the guy who's been here about 90 days how much your safety bonus was. He was like, it was about $800, $845. In 90 days, you're getting it, and that's a month, right? Like, the safety bonus program here is, I've never heard of a monthly bonus like this. Jim, you told me last month it was $70,000 in safety bonuses.
Yeah, it was 71 or 72, whatever it was, thousand, and I just took us. So we got 100 drivers, just making the math easy, Jam, right?
Sure.
So 100 drivers average got $700.
Yep.
And like you're saying, it's just for doing your job. I mean, we're paying you already to do this, and now we're giving you more.
Right. So why do you deserve to have a safety bonus if you're not doing it the way that we're asking you to?
Got to earn it.
And that's a policy violation. That is a JFW policy violation. If you have a policy violation, that's a disqualification of safety bonus, right?
Up to 3 months.
Yeah.
Make that clear. Up to 3 months.
Yeah. So not wearing any PPE could cost you $3,000, $2,400, $2,100. I mean, that's an expensive decision.
And you mentioned it, for a no skill deal. There's nothing which makes you look amazing.
Yeah.
No skill and makes you look amazing, because some people aren't doing it, and you never know who's going to be around. That loader operator, the plant manager, one of the owners,
safety director.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in the truck behind you.
Yeah, 2 trucks. The guy behind him gets out, hard hat, safety vest. And he knew it. I mean, the guy behind him knew, but I believe this person wears his stuff.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it was just like, there you got a guy who looks like he's doing his own thing and doesn't care about anything. And here you got a guy that looks squared away that cares about everything. So
it's funny. A couple things pop up right now. So, we mentioned we have a pretty robust, safety program. Everything we do here, it's been smoothed out so well compared to what maybe other places have. And one of the things I like to ask in orientation, especially going over safety bonuses, is, hey, what kind of safety program did you guys have? There's a few reasons I ask it, because I want to see if we can grow and get an idea from whatever place they're coming from.
Sure.
But most of the time, it's a very basic program compared to what we have.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, we're doing a lot better than that, right?
Yeah.
And then one of my follow-up questions is like, hey, how much do you guys get? Like, do you get it every quarter, every month? What is it? And usually it's every quarter, every 3 months.
Okay.
And I think the most I've heard that anybody gets is $150 to $200.
For the quarter.
And it's usually either a flat rate or it's a very small percentage based or whatever. And one of the comments I hear a lot is like, oh yeah, but nobody gets it. They use any excuse not to get that safety bonus, right? And well, I don't know what their policies are, so I just chalk it up to, okay, well, that kind of sucks. Maybe you did something wrong. I don't know, right? But the amount that they get compared to what you can get here for doing your job, doing it the right way.
Right.
It's just amazing what we get here now.
Yeah.
Especially comparing it to what our old safety bonus system was, It's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. I had a new hire, and I get it. They're boasting they earned the highest bonus out of the whole company in 2025. And they said, oh, it was $3,300 or something like that. And I was like,
in a year?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I said, what, I don't even remember. I asked, how was that for a month or 6 months? Or, it was for a whole year. And listening to your numbers, Jam, you could do that in 4 months here.
Easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very easily.
Yep.
And then the other thing that popped up is doing things the right way when you don't think anybody is looking, right?
That's integrity.
Here's a funny thing. I'm driving out Saturday. I'm with my girlfriend and her sister. She was in from out of town visiting, and we're going towards Idaho Springs. I'm on Bromley Highway 85, and I see our trucks coming by, right? And I see one of our drivers stopped at the red light, and oh yeah, that's one of our trucks. And I'm talking to my my soon-to-be sister-in-law, hopefully, and all that, right? So this is what we do, blah blah blah. And next thing you know, I see the driver touching his phone. I put the window down, I honk, and he looks, and I'm like, put the phone down or stop touching your phone. And he's like, just looking around like, oh crap, I just got seen, The thing is that it didn't have to be me. It could have been just anybody there, right? Any person in a four-wheeler car or motorcycle that cares about safety would have been like, hey, get off your phone.
Yeah, that could be a calling.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if you're at a red light. How many accidents have we had about, when you're distracted and at a red light?
Yeah.
Yeah, as you listening to you guys, I think we're opposite of maybe some of the other companies, JR, because we're pretty lenient on not taking the bonus.
We don't like doing it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we want you to earn it. I mean,
Yeah.
how many times have we said that? And the other thing is we don't take it. You didn't earn it.
Right.
I mean, that's the big thing, but we let you earn around here. We
Yeah.
want
You
you to earn.
can't be mad at anyone but yourself.
No,
We
you
want you to live in financial abundance.
Mhm.
You know, we don't enjoy disqualifying people from anything, but it's not us, it's you.
Mhm.
You know, it's just kind of a slap in the face. So if you think about it, here we are shelling out 70 grand and we got people that don't want to wear their PPE. I mean, that's kind of like,
Yeah, you should really, we've talked about it. The old school, you'd be made fun of in the old days.
huh,
You'd be called out by the other drivers,
right.
and like put the stuff on. And that, I think some of that we should hold each other more accountable.
I like it.
I think that's always something that comes up every once in a while. It's like, oh, we need to go back to that time. We need to call out driver for this. And the old school side always says, yeah, let's do that, but then you're in this new era and you're just like, I can't do that.
Yeah, you're trying to get everybody a trophy, but maybe it just takes some hard knocks.
I mean,
I know my closing, thoughts are kind of along that.
It made you better for it, though.
It did,
If
JR.
somebody
I mean,
called you out, you felt embarrassed, but at the same time disappointed in yourself that it made you grow. It made you want to be like, nope, I don't want to be called out like that no more.
I mean,
They do that in the military, don't they?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I hope they still do.
I know when I was driving, a common phrase around here was like, you're out here making us look stupid.
mhm,
You know what I mean? Don't make us look stupid,
mhm.
you know?
Yeah, we want to be like the rest of the truck drivers,
No.
and maybe that's just could be said a different way, but you could be held accountable. You know what I mean, Jim? I mean, I 100% agree with it,
Right.
but the impact that makes is the same kind of impact we're trying to make by taking money. Taking money from you. I said it,
Right.
not having you earn your money, but it's just your responsibility, JR.
Yeah.
You're right.
You start off earning everything.
Everything. JR.
Yeah. We give you it all. And then from there, it's up to you to keep it.
Mhm.
Jam, you say in a kinder, gentler way just what you said, what they used to say, right? Don't make us look stupid.
Don't
Except
embarrass
nowadays,
us.
Don't embarrass us.
Rule number one, don't embarrass
Don't embarrass
us.
yourself. Don't embarrass us.
Yeah. And I say that jokingly, but
Don't
Also-
embarrass us.
also serious.
Yep.
And no crying in the trucks. If you got to cry, go to the back of the trailer, get it out.
Mhm.
Hey, cry
We don't want to see that on the camera. So,
while you sweep out.
yeah, exactly. All right. Actually, I've cried I've cried in the old 0030, maybe not the original 0030. That might have been the original. I don't know. Was that Red Beelman?
I think it
Like-
was. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it was the first number
in the
30.
30s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've laughed in that truck. I've cried in that truck. I've done it all. Yep. Just reminiscing.
Because you spend a lot of time there, Jam.
I
Yeah,
spent
you do.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you're driving, you spend a lot of time in that vehicle. Yeah.
absolutely.
The memories it's an adventure every day, whether you're at work or not. Like I think of when I was in 007, C15 cat engine, red LED lights behind the gauges, chrome gauges. It was,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that's memories.
Yeah. Yep. Good times for sure. All right, let's talk about, I missed a shout out. So I saw the topic mud flaps. So I have a mud flap shout out.
Wouldn't be Dan, would it? Because I have a shout out for Dan.
Nope, it is from Lisa Penna. She wanted to give a shout out to Martine Martinez for helping out last week. I'm like, how'd he help? With my mud flap. So shout out to Martine. Good job. The new mud flaps, Brother Dave, Scooby, Sam,
I mean,
these guys all put a lot of work into making this mud flap machine, I'm going to call it.
mhm.
And it's a rack they just made it where we just mass produce by hand mud flaps out of, I don't know, belting material.
belting,
Belting.
brand new
Yep,
belting.
brand new belting.
Yeah.
Conveyor
So-
belt. Yep.
Conveyor
Yep.
belt.
Instead of spending X amount of dollars on mud flaps, we're saving about, I think I heard $50 a pair.
It's a lot, Jim. When
Yeah.
we broke it down, being able to buy it in bulk and that roll.
Right.
I mean, it's like every mud flap is a free one or something like that when we did the math. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
Gotcha.
it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And these mud flaps, the quality should be through the roof
Mm.
compared to the other one.
They just
Okay.
have like metal belting in it, right? Or metals.
I know
something
it's
like
got
that.
the fiber strands through
Right.
it compared to, I mean, it hauls gravel,
Yeah,
you know what I
this-
mean, or
this
product
was-
on a belt. It's
Yeah,
tough.
this was used for conveyor belts.
Yeah, and it's brand new. It's not used,
Yeah.
nothing like that. So, yeah.
So they made this machine or a rack where you pull the mud flap out, you mark it. It's got pre-built holes in a bracket where you make your holes, and the whole thing's just it's got a little blade on it that I've never seen in my life. It's just really cool. So
And drivers don't have to worry about that because that's what Scooby, Sam, Brother
Right,
Dave,
Dave.
that's what they did, right? They have this whole stack of new mud flaps now.
Mm. Yeah, as far as the drivers are concerned, the mud flaps have pre-drilled or pre-punched holes. You should be able to install that mud flap just like you always have.
Yep.
But the cool thing is these are super, super duty. You should never have to replace that mud flap again.
Yeah.
Never
Well,
did.
either way, still don't
we
bump into
will
piles.
trade that trailer in and replace it before that mud flap needs.
do you know how many mud flaps were made?
I don't.
How many do you think?
Here, let me call Scooby.
There you go.
200.
200?
Man, at least 50 pairs.
I think it was something like that.
40,
yeah.
45 or something like that, Jam.
So about 100.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it ended
yeah,
up
yeah.
being like one mud flap per trailer or something like that.
Yeah.
Pair per trailer.
Just so you guys know, I made one of those flaps.
Just
Yep. Because I asked Brother Dave, is this dummy proof? And he's like, well, go ahead and try it. So if you get mine, it may not last as long as the others. I don't know. So
Yeah, and the big thing to that is that if you do tear off one of the old flaps, you need to put 2 new ones on.
Yep.
Because we have shortened them up to the proper length so they're not
Dragging so much.
and they're not easily tore off or
Right.
as easy tore off. They're not
Sure.
pinched,
Yep.
which is something we fought with the other flaps, just not the right length for an end dump. So there's a lot of stuff to been better, but like Super Dave or you just said, JR, still don't back into the pile. Still don't let your trailer down over them. Still don't do all the things that to try to tear these off. You should never tear it off. Super Dave's right. That trailer should be traded in with the same set of mud flaps it came with once you put a new set on.
gotcha.
So.
Yep,
And we
so-
do, if you have one mud flap that needs replaced, we do want you to replace 2.
Yep.
So they match.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to Dan Ortega because he came in the morning for a mud flap he lost, I guess, at a pile or whatever, and he came in to replace it. And I just found myself during orientation, like I think it was like a 20 or 30-minute portion where they were watching one of the videos. I saw him pull back, and I was like, hey, guys, I'll be right back. You guys keep watching this orientation video. I'm going to go help out the driver. And he grabbed one of the mud flaps, and I explained to him, hey, Dan, let's just replace both of them. We want to get both of them replaced. And he had a little bit of a confused look. He's like, I just tore one off. Explained a little bit, but I did want him to get out of there quickly just because, he's losing money while he's there and all that. So shout out to him for doing that. And the holes in the new mud flaps are they're suitable for like a 1/2 inch bolt, but we use 9/16. A little tip for anybody that's going to do that, make sure that you actually screw in the 9/16 bolt. Don't switch to a 1/2 inch. So that's just one of the things that I ran into.
I
yesterday,
ran
at
into
least.
that the other day too. Somebody had 1/2 inch bolts
Yeah.
instead of 9/16.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have the new one, so that's kind of weird that they had a 1/2 inch.
I
but
thought so too. And
yeah.
the washers were little, and it was like,
yeah,
I
it
don't
should
know.
be a 9/16 bolt.
Yeah.
With a 9/16
Socket
nut
head.
and all that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and the new mud flaps are tough probably to get them started, but they go right in. They've been drilled at the 9/16. You just have to start them with the gun.
yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly.
so,
And
yeah.
that's what I was explaining to Dan. Like, look, just put a nut inside the socket so that way it pushes the bolt through as you're screwing it in and all that stuff. So
cool.
just a little tip for everybody out there.
Mhm.
But let's get both replaced. Make them the same, make them look good.
The note I have from Brother Dave, Super Dave, you already said it, replace both because they are 3 inches shorter. So does that make them 10 inches?
Yes.
Okay, so they're 10 inches off the ground. After a short while of this, we should have some good mud flaps in the old style that will match the one you lose. So perfect.
And in the old ones, are we still saving those for backup in case, like for the tractor mud flaps?
That or maybe to match, because we should end up with a pile. We replaced 2. We should end with a pile with some good ones
Right.
that maybe we take a look and replace. If your other one is pretty good, we replace it with not a new one, but an old one just to get them used up.
Got it.
Yeah,
I think we just don't throw them away.
I think it's a good opportunity for the end-ups because there's some that have the little piece of the mud flap on the front of the fender, and some of those are missing. So it's a good use of that.
Or the center, too.
Yeah.
They're short.
Yeah.
They don't take
I
as much
think-
abuse as the 2 behind the wheel.
I hate to get a bunch of trash built up, but I think the main thing is just don't throw the other flap you took off
Right.
away.
Let's still save
let's
it.
go through them.
Recycle.
Recycle them. Absolutely.
Cool. Guys, what do we have in place to make sure we dump in the right place?
I
Dumping procedures.
I don't think we have anything in place,
Right.
Jam. For as much as we do it,
We do. We have signs in front of all of the tailgate latches. We have signs stuck onto the front of the trailers.
We do?
Yeah.
I feel offense to that. I can't read.
Can't read English. Well,
Damn.
but yeah, we do have quite a bit in place.
Yeah. So I'm being sarcastic. We have so many things in place to make sure you pick up at the right place, you pick up the right material, you bring it to the right place, and you dump it in the right place. The grace for that mistake is pretty much over.
Yeah, there's no.
Yeah, we had a driver drive up to Loveland with some either 1/2 inch or 3/8 chips,
Beautiful
asphalt chips.
asphalt chips,
Yeah.
whether a 1/2 inch or 3/8. I think they were 3/8 because as the pile's sitting back there, Jam, it's beautifully decorated with salt.
Nice.
I went by it.
Is it blue salt?
It's purple. It's a purple salt. Yes, it's
Because of the black and the blue.
no.
No,
It's I have not.
purple
It is
salt.
truly
Oh.
purple salt. It
Oh,
must be another product, another color,
Oh,
but
gotcha.
it's just so beautiful mixed with the chips. Jam.
Gotcha. So we had a driver drive up to Loveland to a CDOT shed.
C-Dot Shed. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Took his 3/8 chips and dumped it in what? In the salt shed.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Right.
I wasn't here for that, but I did catch up with emails yesterday on that, and I saw, and I'm like, how do you confuse basically a product that's black, right? Chips, asphalt chips, with something that's off color?
Well, the driver did say they looked similar. Maybe he's colorblind like I am. The problem is the stockpile of chips was on the outside of the gate to the shed, to the property, right? When you first pull in, the driver passed by
So
the
he passed
pile
for the
of
pile.
He could have put his hand out the window and touched the pile of chips.
You are exactly right, Jim, because I was up seeing Danielle and Tyler, so I drove past the shed. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, just praise the Lord. Anything you want to come up with. Yeah. I mean, the pile's huge on the outside of the fence. You shouldn't even be in the property.
No.
I mean, everything you're saying, Jam, it's unbelievable. Just to get back to the shed was a shitload of work.
Yeah, you had to go out of your way to go to the salt shed instead of to the chip pile. Not only that, our dispatchers made a connecting message with a diagram of the property
Yep. Very clear.
Oh, yeah.
where the chip pile is at, clearly marked, right? The driver confirmed the connect message. So he received it. Whether he read it or not is a different story, but he had confirmed and still ended up dumping in the wrong spot. What do we do with that? I mean, how dumb do we look? How embarrassing.
I was going to say, how embarrassing.
Is-
We had to go pick it up, right?
Oh, that's the reason I know what it looks like, JR, because it's at yard 23.
Okay.
So we had to go pick up a load of salt, right? We have to buy them a load of salt now that's mixed with chips. I'm sure we had to replace the chip
We
load.
replaced the chips too.
That cost us 2 loads. So we basically went over there. Not only didn't we make money, but we had to buy 2 loads of material.
Yeah, salt's not cheap. The chips aren't cheap.
Yep.
The time's not cheap. The fuel's not cheap. The loader stuff.
Yeah.
The embarrassment is definitely not cheap.
Right. Yeah.
Usually
So-
when somebody has to go do the cleanup for that, you usually get comments from people there, like, what was your driver thinking?
Oh,
you know,
I
or-
bet. I bet.
And what do you
it's a-
say to that?
If I was a CDOT worker and I was a loader guy and cleaned it up, or I was there or whatever, it would be the hilarious joke of the day.
Yeah.
Better
Oh,
than
yeah.
any dad joke we've had on the pod.
Yeah, if you were at dinner with your friends or having a beer after work,
Oh
you'd be
my
like,
God.
JFW dumped chips in the salt.
Yeah. Who does that? You know, it would be is big joke. Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we did have to let that driver find success
Says elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't work here and do that. That's
Gotta
not
pay
acceptable.
attention. So, most of the time, it's just slowing down. I think people are just so much in a rush that they just want to get it done and whatever the case is. But you just got to slow down a little bit and think and sit on your hands and breathe and what am I doing?
I don't think we looked it up, but he had to be distracted.
I mean, I pulled video.
Yeah, and so he wasn't, right? Jan wasn't on the phone.
Wasn't on the phone or anything.
He had to be distracted because it's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, we have all these things in place. A diagram, right, that you confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
dispatch.
Yeah, guys, don't just like when you get these connect team messages. I know there's a lot of them, but don't just confirm them. Like read them, and then not only read them, but make them mean something to you, right? Then the stickers on the trailer and the nose of the trailer, the plate by the dump valve, all the things we've put in place to make it almost impossible to dump in the wrong place. We talk about on the show, check your ticket on the scale, make sure you have the right material, make sure you're going to the right. I mean, we talk about it. So.
It takes effort on the driver's part
to screw up.
No, that's the part that takes no effort because they're not paying attention to anything.
But in this case, Dave, it seemed like a lot of effort to get to get back to the salt, you know, and not arguing with you. It's just terrible where the stockpile's at and where the salt's at, you know, and then not, you know, you're not, and then do you have the company radio off the whole time? You know, because you didn't hear anybody talk about it. You didn't think you were the very first load.
Nope.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's no, I guess that's what I'm talking about, the effort. The clues that should be staring you in the face just don't add up, Dave. Super Dave. It is just crazy to do that. And the cost is just.
I always think about.
And that was an expensive one, wasn't it, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
I always think about there's always a reason why you get taught or why things get done a certain way. And you really think about it. Okay, what's the reason of, let's say, for example, our DVIRs. Why do we want you to take pictures of the oil dipstick, the coolant, or the trailer lights? Because we want you to open the hood. We want you to not just take a picture of those things, but we want you to look in there. Did mechanics leave their tools? Did you check the serpentine belt, your leaf springs? You know, it's a reason to get you in there.
Yep.
It's a reason to make you walk to the back of the trailer. Okay, well, what's the reason for having a dump valve on the trailer? It's a reason to get you out of the truck, go back there, open the valve, make sure your tailgate latch is open, and give you the opportunity to look at the material, where you're set up. I mean, so many things, you know?
Yeah, and you know, everybody's got them on their trailers. I believe we finished them, but you're literally lifting that big old plate out of your way that's got the very last questions on it. You know, are you in the right place? Do you have the right material on? All the stuff, and you still lifted that out of the way and pulled the button. You know, just yeah. But like you said, Jam, I think the bottom line is that's just not going to be put up with.
Yeah,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just something we have to do. I talked to you guys about it, and Allie, she's a dog groomer, and she works at a pretty exclusive place. Allie is my middle daughter. She works at a pretty exclusive dog groomer. And, you know, to get hired there in your qualifications, you have to be a good groomer. They have one gentleman that grooms there that's basically kind of world famous. He travels and does haircuts on dogs and all this kind of different stuff. But they're short people, you know, from receptionists to groomers to bathers and all this kind of stuff. And I asked Allie, I'm like, is it a bad place to work? And she goes, no, we just don't put up with bullshit.
High standards.
They can't, you know, they have the pet parents, you know, they could hurt a dog, you know. Can you imagine for the pet lovers are out there, Super Dave, you took one of your Goldens someplace and had it groomed and it comes back with a big old cut? or something like that. Or
That's what happens when I trim the hairballs out from behind the ears. There's a big old scab there sometimes because it's so close to the skin.
right, Dave.
But hey,
and how bad do you feel?
they don't mind.
But yeah, and it's the same for here, you guys. We have a standard. We're trying to win the Super Bowl every day. We're trying to, keep everything under control while we paddle underneath the water, but we can't put up with it. We're a great place to work, but we can't put up with the bullshit. We can't be made fun of at the CDOT shed for the next year.
Right.
That's not a Super
Or
Bowl.
worse yet, they will say, yeah, we want to order this material, but we don't want JFW to haul it.
Absolutely.
Anybody else, but not
That's-
JFW.
Absolutely, Super Dave.
And that's the embarrassing part. And if you already said it, sorry, I was answering a driver via text message, but our customer was A1 chip seal.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to their customer
Mm-hmm.
and screwed it up. Yeah. That's the rough part where CDOT has to call A1 chip seal and be like, hey, you're not going to believe this, but JFW just jumped your chips in our salt. This isn't, what's that, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups? Where they got the peanut butter and the chocolate. It ain't the same.
Yeah, it didn't turn out good, did it, Jim? It's not better tasting.
Luckily, CDOT Loveland is a customer. We deliver salt there, so we could bring them a load of salt. But, I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, Jim, I'm not after correcting you, but the product might have been for the city of Loveland, but the CDOT shed that's just a good storage place.
Mm.
And so really the chips have nothing to do with CDOT. That's just where they're allowed to dump.
Right.
So
it's not their customer.
It's not their customer.
Right.
So we actually screwed over CDOT. We screwed over A1. We screwed over A1's customer.
It was like the city of Loveland probably was doing some
chip seal, and they're able to store it at the
just
at
dump
the
it at
station.
this.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the shit does just flow downstream.
Sure does.
And we took a big old dump,
Huh.
literally.
Right to the unemployment line for that driver.
Yes, it's not funny, but it's terrible, you guys. We can't do it.
Yeah. What sucks is I enjoyed that driver.
Mhm.
I thought he was a good person, a fun person to talk to. Yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah, it does. It
What's
does.
the moral of the story?
Pay attention.
Double
Don't jump-
check, triple check,
Yep.
pay attention,
Slow down a bit.
slow down.
Read and understand and make your Connect team messages
key word,
mean
understand.
something. Mean something to you.
Yeah. Go out and win the Super Bowl.
Don't
Do-
just
do your job with excellence.
Yes.
Yeah, what I'm noticing is some people listen to this podcast or not, take the quiz, get it all right, and then still go do the thing so there was some other issues. One of the things this driver did was made a left-hand turn into Raptor to go back to the next plant, right? So I'm like, I know we talked about this on the podcast. I know there was a question about it on the podcast. I'll go back like 3 episodes to the quiz. Just got lucky, pulled up the quiz. There's that question, not to turn into the Raptor property. Went, looked at his quiz, got 100%, answered that question right. Got 100% the first time, answered that question not to do that and did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Yeah, we have to promote excellence, because we make mistakes, but we all try to be excellent every day.
It's true. All right. Moving on from the chips. You guys ready?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. If we haven't beat that to death.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
Next on the list, don't deadhead your hydraulic cylinders when dumping. Anybody want to dive into that?
Yeah, so for others that don't understand what that means, to not deadhead your cylinder when you're dumping is don't bottom it out, I guess is another way of saying it. Or
Top it up.
basically don't top
top
it out. There you go. You got 5 stages of each silver step that it goes up on that hydraulic cylinder is, there's 5. So once you count to that 5th one, how long they are pretty much. So don't let it top out at the very top while you're still in that up position on the dump valve. what basically it does is that you're increasing the pressure inside of that and down the line, basically, which essentially, it breaks down your hydraulic hose and just pops it out. Whether it's out of the cylinder or I guess the case yesterday, it popped out from the butterfly valve, is my understanding. So I guess that was the first time we've all seen that, right?
Yeah,
it broke the butterfly, and I have never seen that
on the tractor side, right? Like the butterfly stayed on the trailer, but the tractor hose came off the butterfly side?
No, it broke the butterfly, from what I understand.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Not the fitting. I mean, it broke the brass part of it.
Wow.
Wow.
It blew apart. Not the hose off the fitting is how I understood it.
Gotcha.
So,
Boy, my theory on that would be he had jackknifed really hard somewhere and cracked it. Do you think? So under the extreme pressure of dumping that load, it finished cracking and broke.
I mean, back to the same thing, Super Dave, is when you jackknife really sharp, you tear the rubber out of the fitting. You'd break the rubber. This was the fitting itself, because I'm pretty sure is what they did, you guys, is they just took a fitting up to there, spun it back on the hose. The hose was fine, and put it back on the truck and let the trailer down.
Wow.
So it was truly the fitting itself. But along your lines, JR. I mean, not to interrupt you, but I'm pretty sure that's 2,500 psi or 3,500 psi.
I was gonna say 3,000, but
right,
I mean, it's a lot of pressure you need just to lift that much of a load.
That was the point I was going to make, JR. Is you guys all know it's lifting 32 tons with really no problem, and the load's all the way out of the trailer. And you've deadheaded it into the top of the cylinder, you've taken the cylinders and ran them all the way against the rings. I mean, for the knowledge to understanding, when you guys have the trailer up in the air, every one of those rings, like JR just mentioned, every silver space is a cylinder inside a cylinder with a ring on it and a set of seals. All that's holding that together is that steel ring from shooting apart. So that steel ring can hold 2,500 psi or 3,000 psi as it stacks. It bottoms out and able to push another cylinder. It bottoms out, able to push another cylinder. That happens 5 times.
Yeah.
When it gets to the very top, it's got no place to go.
There's no more cylinders.
No more cylinders. So it's either going to blow a ring apart, blow a hose apart, obviously break the butterfly. It's just wrong, you guys. And hopefully you weren't trained that way. I know years ago, we had a driver get out and he left it in the raised position with it empty and got out to get his ticket signed, and then got back in the truck. And we were forever trying to get the trailer back down, trying to crack the valve and not, the butterfly to where it leaks, and trying to catch the oil. And we just had to relieve the pressure. And that was the first, none of us like, well, how does this happen? How does this happen? And then we finally got out of the driver like, oh, I left it in the raised position. And
So we have a safety feature in place.
That's the reason that's invented.
Jam. Gotcha.
Yep, and that's the reason we run that, is you have to hold it up, because you used to be able to hold it up and it would just stay in the raised position.
Got it.
And he jumped out with the PTO in the raised position, and it just sat there and pressurized to 3,000 psi.
Yep.
So I guess question, because we've run into this, is it set up correctly? Because I know we've had the airlines reversed, and the down is actually up and up is down, whatever the case is. Or there's a few that don't have the spring action on them, which should be written up, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They should not. From old school, I hate them when they don't stay up.
Right.
I mean, I like to be able to turn all the way around, look at the window, all that kind of stuff. I don't want to hold it up. But no, it should come out of it, and that's a safety feature, because we also had we bumped the PTO and kicked the pump, we dropped like a thermos or a coffee cup on the PTO switch, engaged it when the towers were between the seats, engaged it, and the trailer was in the raised position, and we hit the Alameda Bridge. So
Wow.
yeah.
So just to be clear, when you're running your PTO and your lever to dump, your dump lever.
Jam. Sorry.
When you are raising it, you need to hold it up. And when you're lowering it, it should stay lowered. If it's not operating like that, you need to right it up.
You really should. Yeah.
Should be having a spring action.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to raise your trailer without your hand on the lever.
Holding
That's
it.
a
Yeah.
safety.
It should never stay in the raised position.
Yes.
Yeah. And then please don't hit especially if I'm end dumping and haven't done it for a while, I will go up and bump the cylinder. You know what I mean? If I'm not paying attention, that's not what we're talking about. But the best procedure is to get used to know when your trailer's all the way up and stopping it, because it doesn't need to go all the way up. And please don't run it up and hit the cylinder because you're too lazy to clean the trailer out. You know, there's the other thing. I've seen the guys, and we have in the past, you know, with the rock trailers, we've spiked them. It's called spiking it, and to get the snow out, that's not good either. That's not right, but we know how to do it.
Yeah.
Well, we're not holding that pressure. It's the continued pressure that really tears the system up. So please don't do any of that, and please don't bang the top of the trailer with the cylinder. It's not what should be done.
Yeah, the more you do it, though, you know exactly or have an idea of how long each cylinder takes to get to the next. So once you count that number 5, because you feel it, every little jolt in the truck, when the new cylinder hits, you feel it. Once you get to that number 5, you know, give it a 5-second count or whatever it is, right? And you know that you're halfway through that cylinder, and you can probably stop right there. You know, so.
Yeah, and the thing is too, most of the trailers clean out like the 3rd stage with sand, rock, whatever with the liners. You know, don't run it all the way up. If you're hauling the same material and you know you're emptied out, you don't need to run it all the way to the top. That saves some time coming down.
Yeah.
Reverse your thinking. Don't try to run it all the way to the top and then have to wait for it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, we can be better. Something else, learning opportunity, end dumping opportunity to know.
Absolutely. Next on the list, we are looking for some good quality drivers here at JFW. And we have, if you don't know about this, we have a referral program in place where JFW will pay you, the current driver, or any employee, except if you're on the leadership team. So if you're in the wash bay, if you work in the admin, if whatever your position is, if you refer a driver here and they stay for 6 months, you get $2,000.
Yeah, absolutely, Jam. It's a great program. It's been in place. In fact, I think the funny thing is we called Scooby to let him know about a referral program because we've known him for so many years. If he knew of a good driver, and that's how we got him to come back. Well, how about me? Can I come back? And so, yeah, funny conversation, but yeah, it's always been there, Jam. And we'd loved, you guys know good drivers, right? You also, you know that guy you're not making fun of or that buddy or anything like that. And we'd love to have them come on board and be part of the team. You know, especially if you know we're a good place to work and your buddies, you know, struggling someplace, ask them to come in, make $2,000.
Yep. We'll also offer, if you want to have your buddy do half a day ride along to come check us out and see how we run and kind of feel the culture a little bit and see what we do, that's absolutely fine. Yeah.
Just, I guess, rephrasing what you would say before, Jam. I mean, if they come on, tell your buddy, don't embarrass us.
No crying in the cab of the truck. So
yeah, great idea, Jam. If you had a day off from your job that you're at to come ride with us, see what we're about. Back to mentioning Allie, their hiring process has changed up for a groomer. They ask you, and they pay you, but they ask you to groom 4 dogs. That's their qualification. See how we work. See how our receptionist works. See how our washer, you know, our dog washing, our bathers work, and you know, see what our atmosphere is about. You know, come take a look at us. You know, come ride with us. That's a great idea.
Yep. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. Super Dave, did you get a text message from Fabio De Gaetano Plaza today?
I did. Fabuloso. He was, one hand, he was voicing his frustration with his experience with the city of Wheat Ridge and a ticket that he got. But as we discussed it, we really found out pointers that we need to broadcast out to everybody out there listening to the podcast and the things that you should do to prevent the same thing from happening to you should you get put in that situation. But Fabio got a ticket a couple weeks ago over there at I-70 in Kipling. They pulled him in and they wrote him a ticket for being 81,050 pounds on I-70. And he protested because his scale ticket said he weighed 79,400 pounds. And on top of that, both of his gauges on the dashboard were under 36. And so as far as he knew, he was completely legal, doing nothing wrong. And they wrote him a ticket and said, sorry, bud. So he did go to court with all the evidence, had pictures of his gauges on the dash, and he had a copy of the scale ticket. And they said, sorry, bud, you either pay the fine or you can go to court, which would require him to have a witness from Pit 21 saying that the scales are certified and that he was under 80,000 pounds. And he's like, what? What do you mean? There's nobody that's going to come to court on my behalf from Brandon up there, right? So he felt that he was railroaded just so they could get the fine. And in our experience, I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast. I would assume we have, but there's a few things that he could have done at that point to help, change the outcome, perhaps. The first thing is for him to ask for a reweigh. Okay, right then and there, and say, no, I don't think that's correct weight. I want to pull off the scales and reweigh. And very often they'll say, no, we're not going to do that. That's when he should have said, hey, I'm going to call my supervisor and I want him to talk to your supervisor. And then we've done that and actually achieved a reweigh. And guess what? That the weight was different. And it was also found that in this case that I'm talking about, that the scale operator for the police department added the axles up wrong. So his weight was off, right? So anyway, the other thing is, if you find yourself in that situation, do not drive away. Once you drive off, you're done. The only other way to fight that weight, whether it's wrong or right, it doesn't matter. The only other way to fight that is to go to court for it. And chances are exactly what happened to Fabio is that it will work against you to miss a whole nother day of work. You could have this time invested and then they would rule against you. So you would lose your 2 days wages, one to go to court the first time and then another day going to a jury trial. But in the end, you're going to be able to fight that much better right there at the scales. So first of all, ask for a reweigh. Second, don't drive off, stay there. And then third, also call the office and have the powers that be and that they're able to contact a superior officer, whether it's the Wheat Ridge Police, Adams County, because I believe it was Adams County where it happened to Mr. Perfecto. But, even the state patrol, we have numbers we can call.
Absolutely, Super Dave. And Fabio, I'm sorry that happened to you, but I think the biggest lesson from all this, and yes, we've talked about it on the podcast, and Super Dave, I want to back it up a little bit. If you get to the port and there's any kind of discrepancy, you need to call us immediately. You don't have to go back and talk to the state patrol, the policeman, the patrolman. You don't have to do anything. You need to contact us immediately so we can send a safety representative. We take this serious. There isn't any of the police officers, state patrol, anybody that doesn't know we take this serious. If you go down to the scale and you got a scale ticket that says 82,000 and they weigh you at 84,000, doesn't matter. You're still over. But in Fabio's case, he had a ticket that was gross legal. I'm sure he didn't axle himself, but he had his gauges that said he was axle legal. You have every right for a reweigh, for a discussion, but you have to call us. You can't, like Super Dave said, you can't leave. Once you leave, it's done. And I know we talked before the podcast, we came up with 3 easy situations where we just went back and talked back to the trooper or the patrolman. One was misadding it, like you mentioned, Super Dave. One, it wasn't even our truck. They had somebody else's weight because they're busy and they're just misinterpreted. And the other one, I know we were on a secondary and they had us at secondary weight, but we weren't over 85, and we made them, Jam remembered, they put the sergeant or desk sergeant or trooper's supervisor made them pull their hand scales out of their trunk and weigh this truck. And we were correct. But anybody, you're all supposed to be listening right now. Fabio, for anybody, please don't leave. If you have a discrepancy and you're in the right, call us. Get on the radio. And don't call us on the frickin' phone. Call us on the company radio so every driver here has an opportunity to hear what's going on.
Everybody learns from everybody's experience.
Exactly. It's not a secret. Don't call us on the damn phone because we'll answer the radio. I bet there's 3 people down there that answer the radio for 12 hours a day, along with the damn phone. But, man, we have to communicate here. You can't take that upon yourselves. And Fabio, he's got a scale ticket, and he's got a gauges in his truck. We could have beat it right then and there.
Yeah. Sometimes it just takes a let me talk to your supervisor comment.
Yeah. And you don't have to be rude about it.
Yeah.
You just have to go in and go, listen, you guys might be mad at me. You might be angry the way, this is going down. You might think I'm just another dumb truck driver, but I have a weight slip and I have gauges in my truck. I believe I'm absolutely correct. Will you just reweigh me?
Yeah.
Just give me a chance to prove my innocence right here with you guys. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. They're not going to tell you no, probably. Almost 100% they're not going to tell you because they're going to want to prove you that, okay, I'll reweigh you again. You're wrong. No, I'm not. And then if it really gets down to it, that let's say pit 21 is wrong, right, and their scale is off, we got to notify Brennan.
Right.
Because they're giving material away, and they ain't going to want to do that.
Right.
They're losing material.
Yeah.
Losing money.
They're giving it away, JR.
Yeah, if they give a half a ton away every load.
Oh my gosh, right? Right? Who wants to do that? That's not a business Brannon's in business for. So please, you guys, if I'm sure Jam will put it on the test, warning you right now that what do you do when you get pulled over at the scale? Call us on the radio. Let us know what's going on. Yep. And especially if you're about to get a ticket, what's the deal? I mean, I know years ago we got pulled over for a fuel tank that was leaking, and we had split tanks. We had the hydraulic and the fuel, and we showed up there and the trooper's like, you got fuel leak. And we're like, that's not fuel. It's oil. Oh, it's fuel. I know. He goes, I'm not going to rip up a tank or rip up a ticket. I've never ripped up a ticket ever. That's fuel. And I don't know if it was me or Dave. We reached down and stuck it on our finger and ate it, tasted it. He goes, I'm pretty sure that's hydraulic. And so he smelled it. He goes, you guys are right. He goes, I have never ripped up a ticket ever.
Huh.
And he ripped it up.
Nice.
Standing alongside the road. But you gotta.
And it's not a I got you moment. It's more of just you were respectful, right? Like, no, this is hydraulic.
Yeah.
Like, look, let me show you.
Yeah. It's educational for both sides.
Yeah.
And in their defense, they deal with us being dummies all the time and being heavy and being over axle and letting
they're just used to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Us being wrong. And that's not the point.
Yeah. We're better than that.
Yeah.
So
I think that's one of those moments too. Like if you got caught later in the day after 1 or 2 loads, you could, and if you were running legal all day, like, look, my first 2 loads are also at 78, 79,000. Why would I do it on this third one? It's not like I'm trying to be over or anything,
Yep.
Well, that did happen to me once, JR, and the loader did get me heavy. But I showed him my other tickets, and he was like, yeah, just tell him to lighten it up on the next one. He was that cool.
Yeah.
It was a Denver.
Yeah, they're people also. I think they understand how it works,
I don't remember
especially if
his
they've
name,
been doing
Jim,
it for a while.
The dude with the motorcycle boots, but he was never on a motorcycle.
Oh.
Carmichael or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Lightning McQueen is what they call him, or Puss in Boots.
Yeah, Puss in Boots is what we
Yeah.
used to call them. But Dave, that's the perfect point. Look, I've been trying to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we look at that here too.
He is, isn't he, JR?
We look at that here internally. If let's say you were running CMEX and you had a heavy load, and then we look at the rest of your loads for that day, and they're all good except for that one. There's a little bit more leniency than if you're just running heavy all the time.
Yeah.
So
pushing, yeah.
Yep.
That's no different than like our safety program, like what kind of a driver are you? What story does your safety score tell? Last month, 99. Month before that, 100. Month before that, 98. That's a great driver. He doesn't have any safety issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the person that can't handle it and doesn't do it and speeding all the time, that just tells us you're a reckless driver. You're a driver we can't trust, or whatever the case is.
Mm.
It's the same thing with the port of entries, DOT. You know, they look at our CSA scores. What kind of drivers does JFW have? Are they running illegally all the time? Are they always heavy? Are they always doing this? You know, so
Yeah, I think it's more than anything, somebody has to care.
Yeah.
They have to care about doing it the right way. And I mean, maybe they are reckless. Maybe they are somebody we can't trust, but they certainly don't give a damn.
Yeah, it's back to the whole thing, and we all do it, but we ask you to do it you're pulling into a dirt job and it's just rained for 2 days. Are you going to profile that job that it's probably muddy? And you just mentioned it, JR. All the cops are doing is profiling us.
Right.
We're end-up drivers.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you expect? What do I usually get with an end-up driver? You're overweight.
pulled you over because you look heavy.
Right? They're profiling it, but that's their job. That's what we do that every day. That looks dangerous. Oh, you go in and profile the job site. Hey, there's overhead wires. There's how come it's wet over there and the grass is so green and, all that kind of different stuff. Oh, I'm going to drive where there's absolutely no truck tracks because nobody's ever been there.
Yeah.
All the stuff. Yeah. It's not good. They'll do a better job.
Absolutely. I know this isn't on the outline, but I wanted to talk, with your permission, Jim, I wanted to talk about the mediation we just went through, not in very much detail, but just what's at stake. I think that would be good for everybody to hear.
I was going to bring it up a little bit earlier, Jim, and I didn't. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Not because I don't want to talk about it, just to.
Okay.
I think you should, yes.
Okay. So just so everybody knows, in 2025, we were involved in an accident. Really, from our point of view, it was a pretty minor accident. Okay. It was at highway speeds, but it wasn't a high impact accident. The damage to the vehicle was minimum, but basically we were in the right lane on a highway, traveling at highway speed. Our vehicle was merging on next to us. Okay. Our driver didn't see that vehicle, ended up swerving into the left lane at the last second and sideswiped another vehicle that was passing him. Okay. This thing, the guy that we struck wanted like $450,000. And when I say it was low impact, like it was basically
some mirror and some fender damage.
Yeah.
Right? And
Damage. Yeah. I mean, he's trying to get it all. Right. So we go to mediation and the judge, the mediator, a former judge, says, just so you guys know, I'm 100% success rate at in-person mediations. And that driver was there, our insurance company was there, and they couldn't reach an agreement. There was a $50,000 discrepancy where we couldn't close the mediation for that day. Well, this thing is going to litigation, okay? What's important for you as a drivers to know is not only is a litigation with JFW, but that driver was named in the summons.
So he has to go as well.
Yeah, the driver that was involved in the accident, they're going to go after the driver too. And the way insurance works is they'll assign responsibility. They'll be like, okay, well, this driver, the car that merged on the highway, he's an unnamed person because they left. Well, that car was responsible for X amount of dollars, which is hard to assign blame to somebody who's not there.
Right. You don't even know who it is.
Yep. Then they're going to look at the driver and be like, well, we're going to assign this driver X amount of blame. He's the one that caused the accident. And then they'll look at JFW and assign us blame for hiring that driver. Right. And they're already starting a smear campaign on the driver and everything's being looked under with a fine tooth comb and a microscope. It's just crazy how this all goes from one bad decision. Okay. Nobody got seriously injured. Nobody lost life. Nobody lost a limb, right? This is a very low impact minor accident that is going to litigation. So
to me, this is no different than the person that got hit at less than 1 mile an hour.
0.
And they're claiming back injuries.
Oh, broken ribs, broken
and
ankles.
Like how, after you see video of them leaning over, leaning down, bending over and looking under their car carriage,
Yeah.
How do you have back injuries?
Oh, well, we bent the frame of the car at 0 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
less than idle.
You get into an accident in a big truck, people see dollar signs and they're going to come after you and they're going to come after us. So one bad decision, one moment of you doing things your own way or not the way that we've tried to teach you to do it could be very costly for everybody.
You don't know how serious your job is until it gets serious.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know if I did a good job explaining that, the overview, the big picture, but I know that's where we're at.
I mean, it's the same thing we've talked about before, Jam. You did a great job that everything we do is so important and so serious, and we still have the availability, or people have the availability, because there's commercials every day on every afternoon, every sport event about if you've been hurt by a big truck, call a lawyer.
Yep.
And there's a certain amount of money that they'll just settle for because it's cheaper to do that than to take it to court and pay a bunch of attorneys. And that's the get rich quick scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all this guy is doing. There's nothing, we're really not liable for anything in our world. Was it preventable on our side? Yeah, we have a little bit of blame there, but we've taken care of the true blame.
Yeah.
But we as a company was served yesterday. They asked for me, and Jam took as a company official, took responsibility and took the papers, but they served us and they served the past driver.
Yeah.
So it's serious. It's exactly what we talk about. And are we defendable?
Yep.
If it's just over and over, you get down to it did the turn signal work? How much training did the driver have?
Oh yeah.
All this kind of stuff. And Jam, when you ask, can we talk about it? At that one symposium we went to, and we talked to you guys about it, when they ask about the hiring practice and what can you talk about and what can you say, we can say the truth.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with the truth.
Right.
That's what we're telling you. This is the truth.
Yeah.
Their attorney can't come to us and go, hey, we listened to that podcast and you talked about the accident. It's the truth.
Yeah.
What do you want to
happen?
Yes, what happened? What do you want to do? But the truth is that we're exposed, and that you got, as drivers, you can also be named in the court case. And Jam did a great job explaining that.
Yeah. The amount of, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was going to ask, because you were talking about responsibilities, how they're divvied up, right? Like they can come back and say, because he's asking for $450,000, right?
Mm.
They come back and say, well, you know what, JFW, you did your due diligence, but you still have some responsibility in this. You're going to take care of 10 or 15% of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where does the rest go to, right? It goes to that driver and whatever other parties, right? That's a lot of money.
The other side of this is, which we're all hopeful for, and our attorneys believe the reason this is going to litigation is our attorneys don't believe that this guy deserves what he's asking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't believe he deserves a penny more than what they offered him. Okay. So they're willing to go litigate because they believe that a jury's going to look at this and hopefully see through what this guy's trying to do and be like, there's no way, that would be like, you guys all know I've had I don't want to say anything else.
Yeah. It's just the truth is expensive.
Yeah. 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 It sure is. I've read you guys that one quote from Firearms Legal Protection. I don't have it off the top of my head, but it basically comes down to how much money you got to defend the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Something that the friend of ours says, the Senator Ray Scott, that Dave's become friends with, or we all have. And we talk about the political situation, but his saying is true no matter what. Jam is, you can win and you can lose if you have money, but you can't win if you don't have money. And it's just the absolute truth, and that's, in this situation, it'll be cheaper to settle this, and because winning is expensive. And that's where in our society, we need to have places where we win more, where we like this, hold people accountable.
It's a little sad too, that in that same effect, Jim, is that it feels good to win, but at the same time, it doesn't feel so good.
Absolutely, JR. Absolutely. It is just much easier just to, if they would have got to a number that was settleable. Is that a good word?
Settleable.
You take it and run.
Yeah.
You just won. but you lost.
Yeah. Here's a quote. I did find it. It says, "The law has nothing to do with justice, and justice has nothing to do with the truth. We only truly have the rights we can afford to defend."
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Who said that?
I don't know.
Anonymous.
Yeah.
A guy that just lost in court.
Yeah.
Dave?
Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court. No, I doubt it.
Yeah, this is, I don't know the actual person who said it.
Yeah, it's the last part of that that's so true,
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah.
Yep. We only truly have the rights we can afford to defend.
Sad, but true.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Moving on up.
Tips and tricks, or do we have a safety topic? Or are we kind of
I think that was
kind of the safety topic?
Yeah.
Defendable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or JR, did you have anything?
No.
That-
It was a good
think
topic
that-
to hit on.
Yeah,
You
that
know-
goes back to Steve Mashan, doesn't it, Jim? Our old insurance rep
Mhm.
that always used to say, you got to be defendable. And I say it in almost every meeting I have with a driver when we're talking about the cameras and everything. And
Yeah.
we have to use our tools to be defendable.
When that email came through, Jam, I went back and looked at that driver because it still shows the safety scores.
We were asking
He-
about that.
Yeah, he's defendable as far as what his scores are, right?
What was his scores?
90s, high 90s.
Nice.
I wondered
know,
about that, JR.
Aside from that month, because of that crash,
Mm.
every month prior to that, 97, 98, 99. You
There
like
you
that's
go.
I don't know if that's something we can use for him.
Absolutely.
Or
yeah.
for us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was going to say this earlier. The amount of work. So I did hear back from our attorney yesterday. He says until they need help with their answer, because there's no date yet. We have 21 days to answer, right? They'll need help with the answer, but until then, there's nothing for us to do. But the amount of work that's going to happen before that court case by us, it's just digging through everything,
Mhm.
proving that this driver is defendable, proving that we did make a good hiring decision,
Mhm.
stuff like that is crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, which we've spent years honing.
Right.
I mean, Dave's hiring practice at the beginning, JR's orientation, the training with the trainer, the classes that we test at the end of the point,
Yep.
and the thing is you shouldn't be liable for any of that because you show up here with a Class A license. You have a license that says you're qualified, and we don't even believe you. And
You need to show us.
right, and we recapitalize on that license to make you the very best we think you can be, just for this situation.
Yep.
And I know, like you said, Jim, the amount of work that in the next 21 days, or when they ask for whatever they ask for, the amount of work that's going to go into that is going to be, whatever the word is, over the top, so much work, a lot, everything. But look at all the work we've already done.
Right. Yeah.
Look at everything to this point, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
yeah, we can only afford what we can afford to defend.
It's the only rights that we have.
Yeah.
JR, I'm surprised you didn't put like a PowerPoint presentation together for something for the show today.
What? You've been to my orientation class? Yeah. I mean, we go over that stuff, like
Yeah.
why do we go over that stuff in orientation? Because we want you to do the right things. We want you to be defendable. We don't want you in this situation.
Yep.
We don't want to be in this situation.
Exactly. All right. Tips and tricks with Armando, the Sergeant Del Val, number 53. Working on year number 2 here with Armando. Good morning, JFW family, and welcome back to another week of tips and tricks. Please remember that the point of these tips and tricks are just ways for us to be helpful, better, and safer drivers on the road. Let's be JFW professionals. So for those that didn't know, the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. This is the one month where a lot of individuals go through very hard mental breakdowns. It could happen to anyone out there, and we can either ignore them or ask for help. 2 of the toughest choices anyone has to ever make. Now, I'm not an expert, but when it comes to reading people who are going through this, but if you look closely, you can easily see the signs of someone going through a hard time. So even though May is Mental Health Awareness Month, this can affect anyone at any month. I can tell you that I already had 3 individuals here at JFW that came to me and told me that they were going through a mental breakdown. 2 were the drivers and 1 was the individual that doesn't want to be named. Thank you for those 3 for talking to me and listening to what I had to say. That, in my opinion, is the right choice to make when going through a mental breakdown. The other choice is not talking to anyone and letting it build up until it explodes. I have been with JFW a little over 3 years, and I already went through 2 mental breakdowns. The first one, I can't remember what month occurred, but the second mental breakdown I went through was in May of last year. Both times I walked out of JFW. The first one I took a day off, and the second one I left for a week. Thank you again to Super Dave and everyone in support that gave me another chance. This mental breakdown I had came to me like a sucker punch. I thought everything was going to be okay, and I ignored the fact that if I would have just talked to someone, my decision would have been different. Here are a list of reasons why someone will go through a mental breakdown, and yes, I Googled it. Major life changes, even positive changes like getting married, moving in a new city, starting a new job can be destabilizing. Other changes such as divorce, foreclosure, retirement are frequent triggers. Personal tragedy, the sudden death of a loved one or experience a life-altering accident can push the mind beyond its coping capacity. Financial strain, ongoing worry about debt, poverty, job loss, or long-term financial hardship is a leading cause to psychological collapse. Workplace burnout, constant pressure, overwork, demanding roles, or a lack of support in professional environment can lead to a complete exhaustion. Abuse and trauma, physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, whether occurring currently or as unresolved past trauma, frequent contributes to breakdowns. Social isolation, a lack of social support or persistent feelings of loneliness can make dealing with even small stressors feel impossible. Untreated mental health conditions, underlying issues like major depression, anxiety disorders, or PTSD can escalate into a crisis if left unmanaged. Chronic illness, managing a long-term medical condition such as cancer or chronic pain adds significant layers of emotional and physical stress. Physical neglect, chronic sleep deprivation, poor nutrition, and a lack of physical activity can impair brain function and lower emotional resilience. Genetics and brain chemistry, inherited traits or imbalances in neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin can make some individuals more vulnerable to emotional. Unresolved grief, failing to process a loss over time can lead to a buildup of emotional distress that eventually becomes unmanageable. Substance misuse, I always called it abuse, but use of alcohol or recreational drugs can trigger or worsen existing mental health issues, potentially leading to a breakdown. Remember that if you or anyone is going through a mental breakdown, this can lead to making a bad decision in life. And with us driving daily, it can easily affect us on the road. Here's what my therapist told me a while back. We're all a ticking time bomb. Some have timers set to go off years from now. Others have timers that are about to go off. We are also diffusers. We can choose to either let the time go down until we explode or try to diffuse it by seeking help. Let's diffuse mental health together. Please let me know on Connect Team what you think about this week's tips and tricks, and thank you all again for listening and for the positive feedback. Let's start doing things the JFW way. Until next week, Armando the Sergeant Del Val, $O ? Is this truck down? This truck must be down.
It's down. I think he's in 102 today.
Together we can be better. Yeah, Armando, thanks for writing that. I definitely have a heart for mental health issues and people that suffer and struggle through them. And it's definitely easier when people are in your corner. So great piece.
I think drivers go through that a lot more because they're alone in the cab. So you're alone with your thoughts.
The rabbit hole.
Yeah. You got to talk to people, you know? You got to call a family member, call a friend, and just conversate. I think that's step one for sure.
Yeah. If you don't have anybody, it sounds like Armando is open for anybody to call him. And as always, you could always give me a call.
Yep.
Or anybody at this table, I'm sure.
Anybody.
Yep. So, Soup, you want to hit us with that high road hauling?
I can do that, Jam. So the topic today is something that everybody does from time to time. We're all guilty of it, but it's kind of dangerous. You shouldn't do it, and you have to be careful and think it out beforehand. So this week we're going to talk about being careful to not jump to conclusions. Do you know a person eager to find the worst explanation for another's words or actions? Have you ever been in an argument with someone over something you didn't even do? I'm sure we've all been on both ends of this problem at some point. When something goes wrong, it's too easy to assume the worst about our peers or circumstances. However, the way we look at each event or person is a deliberate choice over which we have the complete control. Jumping to conclusions is a negative thinking pattern developed by making pessimistic assumptions that are not supported by the facts. It's natural for us to make assumptions about whatever is occurring in our environment, and we jump to many conclusions every day as a result. It's not only damaging, however, when we actually believe our assumptions and the inferences are factual and true without digging deeper to find the confirmation and the facts. Let's say that I get up and go to the fridge on Sunday morning to get my orange juice. My wife has already gotten her breakfast when I discover that the carton is empty. My first reaction is to assume my wife had drunk all of the orange juice, and I might infer about that she is thoughtless and rude. If I go down this road, it's likely that a problem will occur at some point, ending either with me directly questioning my wife, possibly yelling at her, or me in a grumpy mood to start the whole day. I could, however, stop and ask myself some questions like, is it possible that she didn't even have orange juice this morning? Or is there any evidence that she was thoughtless or rude in the first place? Or is there another possible explanation, like I could reframe the way I thought about it and could say to myself, I guess one of us forgot to put it on the grocery list, and I'll do that now and pick up some later. If I frame my thoughts in this way, no problem occurs. I go on about my day, and my wife isn't even aware of any thoughts. As you can see, this method is good for all parties involved. So here are some steps to help you from jumping to negative conclusions. As soon as you realize that you're jumping to those conclusions, stop. Ask yourself questions like, what are the possibilities? Is there any evidence that supports my negative inference? What story am I telling myself? Is there another story that I could tell myself? Make a choice. Keep to your story or reframe it. Ask for clarification if you have the opportunity. Most of all, keep an open mind. Realize that while it is natural to make assumptions and jump to those conclusions, your thoughts are not necessarily factual. Be willing to change your mind and tell yourself a different story. And the quote this week, it's not the things you don't know that trip you up. It's the things you think you know, but you don't. You fail to ask a certain question because you believe you know the answer. Separating your information from your assumptions can be a tricky business. And that was said by Claudia Gray, and she is a best-selling American author. So I think the real moral of that story is the quote by Claudia Gray. It's the things you think you know, but you really don't because you haven't gotten the facts.
Yep.
And that happens to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, we're all in that boat at some point. So yeah, moving forward, make the choice to be open-minded and not throw other people under the bus if you don't know what's going on.
I think that falls in line, Super Dave. You can take Armando's tips and tricks, and you mentioned it, JR, that when you're alone in the truck and you're doing that rabbit hole thing,
Yep.
you can sure blame a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Come up with all these ideas,
Yeah.
but you really don't know. But you've convinced yourself of it, sitting
Yep.
there that this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Without talking with somebody.
Yeah. As drivers, we've all been that guy too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You spend that certain amount of time with each other or by yourself. And,
Yep.
you there's a lot of things you think you know, but you just don't.
Mhm.
It adds up.
So true.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, everybody?
Yeah, I got this. Me and Dave talked about it this morning and because he couldn't join us today. And then he said, "You want me to send this to you?" And I said, "Yeah, it's great. Send it to me." And it's a piece. And Tony Robbins is a motivational speaker, and I like a lot of his pieces. It's a pretty kind of down to earth kind of therapy he has, or when he talks to people. But he says that in his episode or whatever, he said, and to me it goes along really well with Armando's piece. But the biggest problem people have is they think they're not supposed to have any problems.
Huh.
And he goes on and he goes, problems are the fuel for growth. Without a problem, how are you going to grow? How are you going to solve anything? And you talk to people, and the people that don't think they have any problems are either a liar or they're asleep at the wheel, and they don't have much of a life, because problems are part of life.
Right.
It goes hand in hand. You have to have a problem, or you're not having life.
Right.
And I don't think some people look at it that way. I loved it where that I don't have any problems. You're not living much of a life. You're not growing. It's not possible. And I think Armando, when he talks about PTSD, it said, I think a little bit of mental illness is you're thinking you don't have any problems when you do really have some problems, but it's tough to talk to somebody. It's tough to realize that, because we all want to be perfect. We all want to believe that, and maybe it's, I don't have any problems, but I can handle that. Maybe you can't,
Right.
because it's a problem you need some advice with, or on, or for, or whatever. And you have to reach out, whether it's, your significant other, it's a friend, or, maybe it's just, personally, maybe if you don't have anybody, but you don't get emotionally hijacked, you step back and go, what do I need to do? Or what would Jam do in this situation, maybe? Or, you know what I mean? Other people, it doesn't matter. What would anybody do in this situation?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's, somebody like Tony Robbins, bring up some podcasts of his, or some episodes, and go, well, how are they dealing with that?
I think a big thing also is the fear of you thinking that you're the only one going through that, when in reality there's thousands of people that probably are going through the same thing you are.
Because you're trying to be, I don't have any problems. It's not that I'm perfect, but I don't have those. I'm better than that, or I'm trying to get through it because I'm Superman or whatever, Superwoman, and that doesn't happen.
Well, that brings up something good too, Jim, is that women are really great at communicating. They're good about expressing feelings and just talking and doing that, right? Whereas as men, for the most part, from being a kid, you're taught you're a man. You're supposed to be tough,
Yeah, you saddle it, you carry it, the biggest thing, and I've seen a quote before, is the biggest thing, JR, when makes me think about that, when you think about that, because Ray's the same one, is nobody wants to ever see you fall off that horse. As a man, we can't fall off that horse.
Yeah.
That's not our job, and that's tough. That's when we fall off the horse.
I want to give a shout out to Sean Kastner. You just reminded me of this, and he gave me a call yesterday. He's getting hit from a few different angles, and just his attitude about everything is admirable. Here's a guy, he's going through it, and talking to him, man, he just he understands that these problems are probably going to be temporary. We just need to get to the solutions. And he has the emotional intelligence to step back and look at it from the big picture. Also, one thing I like to say is sometimes when you get flooded from dealing with, one thing goes wrong, you got it. Two things you go wrong, you're like, oh boy. 3, here we go. 4, my brother, rest in peace, he used to tell me, man, when you get overwhelmed like that, deal with one thing at a time. You can only solve one problem at a time. And that seems to help. So
it does. We've had, a lot of great people on the podcast, Jam, and including, I think, the help we try to give, but Al Fry that one time when he said, when you're in a hole and you're fighting and you're doing all this stuff, what do you need to stop doing? And he's stop digging.
Yeah.
and sometimes you just need to stop digging
Yeah.
because you're digging a hole. And, Super Dave, you've helped enough people here. And one of the biggest things is a lot of times when people spiral, they don't come to work. They don't show up here. And it's not like it's here. It's any job, because like you just said, Jam, if you're not working, then you don't have money.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't pay your bills, or you can't do this, and the problems just grow and grow and grow, and you're stuck. And usually if you can just baseline and keep bringing in some money and keep functioning, you can work through the other stuff. And when you do talk to people, when you do have lots of problems, let's take the easiest problem, solve it and move it, solve it and move it. And then all you're left with is the big problem.
That's like the snowball technique.
Yeah. Yeah. It's no different from that. Let's get rid of this payment first, take that money off that payment, put it on the next payment. That payment's gone, and pretty soon it snowballs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just reminds me of the serenity prayer, Jam. The one that just goes, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to know that there's a lot of things we can solve, a lot of things we can change, and you just got to be able to accept that there are things that are just out of our hands.
Yep.
And if you can't do nothing about it, it is what it is.
That's great too, JR, and I definitely have heard that. But again, with me, and it's like being emotionally hijacked, it's recognizing that, that I think, and until maybe you get some age, that's really hard to recognize. When you're younger, you just you don't see it. Like you just said with Sean, right, Cassidy, it's just emotional intelligence. To recognize that.
Yeah, and to your point, Jim, if things are going wrong in your life, don't blow up your job. It's not going to help. It just makes it worse. So,
yeah. And I'm not trying to get you to come to, I don't want people to think I'm trying to get you to come to work here, because we don't want people to miss. It's any place.
Yeah.
It's part of our society. You got to pay bills. You got to eat. You got to, and you usually have
a roof.
Yeah. You have to have a roof too, Dave. Right. And keep that at least going if you can.
Yeah, I like to have a place to come and distract you too. Like, I know I could come here, and for the next 12 or 13 hours, I'm going to be focused on work, and those problems will still be there. You can solve them later.
And talking to people, and, Armando said it, that he can recognize when people are having days. I mean, Jam, we all sat here at the table before the podcast, and, JR is just coming in from doing his stuff outside. Super Dave's probably dealing with, trying to schedule interviews and stuff today. I was doing some emails and stuff like that. And when we sat down here, Jam, I know you read the room. I know you recognized it because you asked, how is everybody doing this morning? And that gets all of us, but I think most of us have the emotional intelligence. Like, yeah, we got an attitude, don't we, Jam? And we need to, it's good. We got to get through it. We got to join. But you took the time to ask us that, Jam.
Yeah.
And that's a responsibility for all of us to bear. Along with calling you out when you're screwing up, making sure we don't call you out, but we ask you, are you all right?
Yeah.
Can I help? So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody good?
Good.
Good show, guys. Let's say the creed and get on out.
Sounds great.
Oh, before we say that, I'm sorry. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Channel 23 podcast. Hit that follow button. Tell all your friends about us.
And don't embarrass us.
And no crying in the cab of the truck.
No crying in the cab.
Yeah. Only in the back of the trailer.
Yep.
Or in the trailer.
While you're sweeping out.
Or in the back.
Just out of view of the camera.
It can be on the deck plate as long as you're out
Oh.
All right.
Together
we face and overcome all that stands before us. Together we are accident free. Together we joyfully create honest value for those we serve. Together we celebrate our differences and respect those with whom we work. Together we are accountable for our words and our actions. Together we are the JFW family.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Catch you next week.
Be safe.
I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We worked for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. I hear there's a couple million tons to move. I see them everywhere. So you best get out their way and watch that sand and gravel disappear. There's another run to make. We gotta get it there on time. And we got what it takes to lay it all out on the line. We'll lay it all out on the line. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks got the best drivers in town. They got all the tools they need to keep that hammer down. When they hit them scales, they won't need to dodge them, won't need to duck them. They just keep that hammer down, and they keep that diesel trucking. Keep that hammer down, and keep that diesel trucking. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. They just keep them doors a-closed, keep them butts in their seats, cause those customers are calling, and those red trucks can't be beat. They've gotta put the hammer down and pick up another load. Get it off the ground, keep them eyes open and on the road. Keep them eyes open on the road. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Breaker 23, anybody got a copy on that Channel 23 podcast? Welcome, and thanks for listening.